Hey everyone, I appreciate you checking in and thank you for being here. If we haven't met yet, my name is Max Silver and I hope you're having a great day. Today I want to tell you a story from the early days of our real estate development journey. A story that at the time felt like the beginning of the end for us, if I'm being honest. It's one of those moments that cuts so deep that you kind of remember exactly where you were standing. Like a smell could bring you back to that moment in time. You remember what the weather was like that day, all of that. But looking back, this moment ended up being one of the most transformative kind of turning points in my career. But I didn't see it then, and I couldn't see it then. All I saw was disaster. All I saw was we might be completely screwed. So if you're early in your journey in real estate or in entrepreneurship or whatever, and you've had that moment where you're thinking like, oh no, this is going to be the thing that takes me out, just stay with me. This story is about the exact opposite outcome. So let me bring you back. There was really early on for us, like really early. Bridget and I had bought maybe our second or third project ever. We were still figuring out what we were doing. There was no team, no track record, no systems or process, like nothing. We were just a young couple. We weren't married yet. I think we were still dating, which is weird to think of Bridget as my girlfriend, but that's what she was at that time. And we had no little mouth to feed at that time, which makes it a lot easier to take gambles on yourself. We just had a willingness to kind of go for it and a belief that we could make something out of these old row homes that we were buying to fix up. So this particular house was on Randolph Street. It was rough. And when I say rough, I mean like the kind of house the minute you walk in, you feel the weight of the years and like the decades of neglect. Like it was owned by a woman who had been hoarding for a very long time. The floors were all soft, the walls were stained up, everything was piled up high in every room. It's like the kind of place that immediately tells you no one has cared for this property in a long, long time. Well, we figured like, no problem, we're gonna gut it out. We'll take it down to the party walls, redo everything, bring it back to life. We had a budget, we had a plan, and like we had a vision in our head. And honestly, we were excited about that project. So we close on the property, we start clearing it out, doing all the demo, and the yard was like just as filled with crap as the rest of the house was. Probably stuff that had been brought in and left to rot many, many years ago. And the entire yard was like the inside of the house, filled up to the brim when we had first walked through it. So once we cleared all that junk, it uncovered the base of this masonry wall. And if you're familiar with Philadelphia row homes, it's like towards the back of the house where it skinnies up. There's another brick wall where you can, build windows in to bring light in through the home. And it's this rear side wall at the base where we saw it. So like once we cleared everything off, we see a huge belly, like a giant bulge where there shouldn't be a bulge in the brick. So I knew pretty immediately this is a problem. So we bring in a structural engineer to evaluate the situation, let us know what he or she recommends, and we rely a lot on like engineering partners to evaluate underlying things that we find, provide us structural details on how to solve these problems. If I'm being honest, 9 times out of 10, I already know how to fix the problem, but 10 times out of 10, you get it documented and stamped by a professional engineer so that everybody's butt is covered. So this guy comes out, he walks through the house, he looks at the rear masonry wall, immediately gives me a look that's not great. You can probably imagine the look I'm talking about. Yeah, like that was the vibe. It was bad. And he tells us the wall is severely compromised, bowed out, pulled away like after years of stress and neglect. And he says, I don't see a viable way to save this wall. And I remember thinking like, what is that? Like, what does not save even mean? You're the engineer. Give me the plan. Tell me how to fix this. But he was not comfortable signing off on any repair plan at all. Felt it was like too far gone. So we bring in a second engineer because you always hope the second opinion will be different, even if you know in your gut that it won't. And the second engineer basically tells me the exact same thing. The wall is structurally unsound. There's no way to pin it, no way to bolt through it, blah, blah, blah. No way to reinforce it. No creative engineering detail, no miracle solution. No do this one thing and you're good. It had bowed out like so far that no licensed engineer was going to put their stamp on it. And once the engineer won't stamp something, the city's not going to approve it. The inspectors won't even look at it. Your insurance won't cover it. Like, you're done. And that was really the moment that it really did hit me. Like, we were going to have to take the entire back of this house down to the ground. So at that stage in our career, this felt catastrophic. Like truly, I had lost a lot of sleep over it. I would lay awake at night running numbers over and over, laying there in bed like I could do something about it instead of sleeping, which I still struggle with right now. But I thought this was going to bankrupt us. We were super green in the business. We didn't have deep reserves. We didn't have connections. We didn't have a construction company, really. We didn't know anything about new construction. All we kind of knew was this was not our plan. And when you're little and inexperienced and on your own, like a single unexpected curveball can make it feel like the world's collapsing on you. And that is exactly what it felt like to me. I was worried I had made a huge mistake. I worried what it meant for the future of our business. I really worried what it meant for our life. Because if we failed at this, what else were we going to do? So here is the thing. Life doesn't ever ask if you're ready. Sometimes it just shoves you off the ledge and says, all right, you're flying now, figure it out. And this was that moment for us. We brought in a demo crew. We took the entire back half of the house down by hand, brick by brick. We excavated down where the basement used to be. And this is like back off the street, landlocked. So this part was all done by hand and very slow going. We removed the entire old stone loose laid foundation walls. We had a new plan drawn up and approved by the city, basically to build a new construction home in the rear of the existing and tie it all together floor by floor. So we get that approved through zoning and building review, and then we bring in concrete guys to pour the new footings, something we'd never done before. We formed and poured new foundation walls. And I'm standing there learning about rebar spacing and anchor bolts and PSI of concrete mix and things I had never thought I would even need to know about at that stage of my career. We learned how new construction framing works from absolute scratch. We learned sequencing material drops, the inspections, the bracing, the elevations. I mean, I spent hours and hours on site absorbing everything we could. Every day brought a new challenge, and every day really forced me to level up. And here is the best thing. The people we work with on that job, the trades, the masons, the engineers, the design partners, they helped us rebuild, and they were good people. They treated us fairly. They didn't take advantage of the fact that we were new or scared or in over our heads. They stepped in and shared their knowledge with us and taught us how to do these things we didn't know how to do, and I'm forever grateful for that. And somewhere in that process, the fear we had kind of slowly started to turn into confidence. Like the new construction wasn't this terrifying, unreachable, maybe one day if we're lucky kind of milestone anymore. It became something we had done. We had actually done it, not planned it, not dreamed, we did it. And the silver lining is we ended up selling that house for a lot more than we originally expected on the renovation. The improved layouts and the greater square footage we were able to achieve via the new construction aspect of this build gave us a much greater sale price on the back end that more than offset the added costs associated with the changes we found. Well, maybe it just negated the overages in the original budget. Maybe it didn't do better. But from a business standpoint, we survived, and that project accelerated us years ahead of where we would have been. Without that happening, I don't know how long it would have taken us to say, yeah, I think we're ready for a new construction project. Maybe that would have been 5 years or 10, or maybe we never would have said that. Maybe would have stayed safe forever, just doing rehabs. And that wall that had to come down actually pushed us through a door we probably never would have walked through voluntarily, honestly. So here's what I want to leave you with. Sometimes the biggest breakthroughs don't look like breakthroughs when they arrive. Sometimes they look like a disaster. Sometimes they feel like the thing that's going to absolutely break you. But looking back, those are often the exact moments that shape you and make you better. If that masonry wall had not failed, we might have stayed small. We might have stayed scared. We might have delayed our potential for years. And that forced us to level up. So if you're dealing with something in your own business or your life that feels like a wall collapsing, try to zoom out a little bit. You might be standing in the middle of that exact moment for you, the moment that changes everything for you. Thank you for listening to me. I will talk to you soon. Have a great day.